Hey Pisces, welcome to your January 2022 message. It's all about emotional clarity, mental clarity, so that you hear what you need to hear to have the clear mind to make the actions to get the results that you want. That is always my desire for you. I want you guys crushing your goals, getting your manifestations. So let's dive in, Pisces. Okay. Okay, Pisces. You're at like this precipice of your next level, Pisces. But honestly, you're making it way too big of a deal and way too big of a deal emotionally. You're making it like bigger than it is. Instead of just recognizing that this is your next real step to go towards this goal or manifestation that you have, you're making it like, oh, here I am. And here's this thing that it's my passion, it's my destiny, it's my life purpose. And you're making it so grand and big that it seems daunting. Okay. But when you were a baby, didn't walking seem daunting, right? And there were no books, there's no tutorials, there's no movies. Your parents don't actually tell you what to do. They'll sometimes hold your hands to give you stability so you could practice, right? But it's something that you figure out on your own. And, the little baby doesn't like when it starts to figure out its hands and figure out his feet, it's not, well, this isn't walking, right? It's like, whoa, look, my hands. Hey, mom, look, I can move my hands. Whoa, right? It's celebrating along the way. Here you are, here you want to be. Can you celebrate this next step as if it were that? Because that's what gets you into step four, the synchronistic flow that everyone wants to be in. It's when you're celebrating, like, all right, awesome. I have a thorough understanding of the stock market and this particular company, and I want to invest in it. Can you celebrate that knowledge that you gained and that confidence that you have now in investing in a new way, creating a new revenue stream for yourself as much as it's you've got the millions sitting in the bank account? Can you celebrate, all right, now I've figured out the renewable industry, like the renewable energy industry. I figured out crypto. Can you celebrate all of those steps? Hey, Sammy, what's up, girl? Don't forget to come to High Vibe Mondays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do those free every Monday. So nice to see you. So Pisces, you're here and you want to be here like it's my life mission, it's my life passion. Um, and like, how will I ever get there? Hopeless, despair, downward spiraling. Or you could just recognize you taught yourself how to walk. You're going to take it a step at a time. So, whatever it is you've got to do, break it down into smaller bite sized chunks. Like, I want to show you guys my to do list. Like zodiac videos. You can't really read it. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I wrote myself a to-do list, right? I have 12 videos to do. I'm a little late. It's January 5th and it can be daunting. It can be like crushing, like, oh, I'm late. I'm not doing my thing right. My people are going to be disappointed. Or it could just be, hey, today, focus on 3 videos. Tomorrow, 3 videos. Then I have, here's some old clients I want to reconnect with. And I listed all of their names out. And so when you break it down, then you can see that it's approachable and tackable. So you kind of have to like break it down. Like, so good. You may have done your Simon Sinek, your why. My why is this. But now that here you're like, oh, I want to taste that sweet, savory, good thing. Instead of just going like, yeah, that's going to be good. And recognizing that right now you are already serving your life service by being on the path to get there to the thing. Because I guarantee you, once you get to the thing, once you're either on stage, famous movie star, are on stage speaking in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people, or you're making the millions and millions a year, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to love it, but then you're going to want something new and something else. So don't make this be this end all be all. If I could just have that, I'd be happy. Okay. Because that, when you put something on such a pedestal, that's what can cause a lot of self worth downward spirals and a lot of the mental mindset anguish. Okay. So you've got to balance your time between visualizing the future. You got to meditate to connect to your inner voice. And then sometimes you can meditate to visualize what you want it to look like, what it's going to feel like when you get there. You got to do both because one taps you into your inner guidance, one helps get you into the right mindset to either get your goal or your manifestation. But then it's always, and then action. and then action. Because what can happen if you don't do the action? You're like, but I've been visualizing it. I've been doing all the law of attraction thing. I'm doing all the mindset study, all the stuff that studies say you should be doing. I was visualizing it every day. But were you taking the action? And sometimes your action step will be learning, it will be acquiring a new skill, it'll be further developing it, right? Skill, devote yourself to increasing that skill. It becomes a passion. Once you get so good at it, then it's easy to monetize it. But don't, if you're just learning how to make a chair out of wood from scratch, you make your first one, be proud of the chair that you built, make the next one better, make the next one better, right? And then eventually you'll be making $50 chairs, but then you'll be making $500 chairs. And then you'll be like, no, this is a custom chair fit perfect to your body. It's designed, hand carved by me. My chairs are 5,000, right? Yes, it takes a certain level of confidence, but it also takes years of developing it. It's a skill. Um, okay. Because once you kind of get that breakthrough that it's like, in the morning, or maybe you're a night person, in the morning or at night, you do your mental work, your emotional work, you meditate, and then write out your chore. Some people are better at scheduling it in their calendar. Some people are better with lists. I'm a list person. I read a study that more people do better when they schedule in their calendar. I personally don't. When I have a list, I do better. So just make sure you're doing that so that every day you're taking continual action for it, right? And y'all know this for weight loss. It's the person who gets up, works out every day, just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and that they just track their food. That's the person that's going to get results versus the person who comes in headstrong for a whole month, works out vigorously 2, 3 hours a day, eats only 500 calories a day. That's the person who crashes and burns eventually. So, that it's obvious in weight loss. So, let's apply the same to your career. This is definitely a little bit more of a career money read for you guys. I'm not getting a lot of love in this read. So, it's definitely like, what do you want? Visualize it, and what are things you could do to get there? Okay. Once you kind of recognize that it's energy and action and celebrating that action with a, I just learned how to do this, that's going to help me get there. And you're in that synchronistic flow. That's when you're going to feel, I don't want to say child of God, but that's when you're going to feel like this glow. Like business people tend to call it in the flow. Entrepreneurs tend to call it in the flow. My law of attraction people tend to call it that synchronistic flow. Every, every action I'm taking is an inspired action. But that's when you're going to hit that. And then that is when you realize like, oh, I am powerful. I can do anything I set my mind to as long as I do the combination of both energy and action. And energy, for those of you who aren't big on law of attraction, I know I'm getting some like business followers lately who just aren't into the spiritual thing at all. Fine. Energy just means your default emotional state, right? When sometimes when you walk into a room, you're like, ooh, someone's angry in here. You just picked up, read their energy. Some people say, ooh, he's got bad energy. All it means is that person's in a low vibe, low vibration, a low emotional state. So just vibration is the emotions that you're emitting, right? If you think you're feeling confident going into that interview, you're gonna do a good job. If you're not feeling confident, that's what vibe energy is. So once you recognize that it is about mindset, doing things just to make me feel better, feel more confident, and then action, that's when you're going to recognize, like, oh, I'm an empowered being because I have the capability and the capacity to expand and grow and acquire any new skill set that I want. That's empowerment, not I did all my meditations and it came in without any effort from me. That's like entitlement. That's a little bit of entitlement, right? And there are some people who have, yeah, gotten that big. Like, what's that Richard Branson who owns an island and just flies people to his island? Yeah. But you see how he developed a skill and developed a skill and developed a skill that now he's at the stage where he can fly people to him. So it's not like he does nothing, right? He has to call people, he has to get them to come to his island. So let go of that notion that I meditated and onto my lap because that's just going to set you up for this feeling hopeful, feeling despair, feeling hopeful, feeling despair, feeling hopeful, and your emotions are just going to be banged around instead of recognizing it's energy and then action, energy and action. And I'm an adaptable human being, so I can learn new skill sets. I'm smart. I'm capable. And that would probably be a really good like affirmation for you guys. I'm smart, I'm capable, I'm competent, I'm resilient, I can learn new things, I can adapt, I can grow new neuroreceptors in my brain or reactivate old ones. Um, I can learn this. I know how to apply myself diligently and spend time crafting a skill. Those are the kind of like affirmations you want to be doing. Because when you do that, that's when you're gonna go through like you got the chamber of healing. This card always comes up when you're ready to leave, to stop using the past as your reason to justify why you don't have what you want. That's all forgiveness is. For those of you who may have had something kind of shady going on in your childhood, it's that moment where you go, oh, fuck. My parents may have done some things that did not teach me things that are helping me right now. But that is my launch pad and I can learn. I can learn. I can teach myself. I can teach myself. It's when you drop that, I don't have what I want because my mom was a narcissist. It's when you drop that and go, hey, you know what? My mom was a diagnosed narcissist, and that it is what it is. There's certain elements of my childhood that I'm never gonna like, right? Because you want to be congruent with yourself. There's certain elements of my childhood that I'm never gonna like, and no matter how much reframing of I do, I'm not gonna like it. And I'm not gonna like that I feel like I'm further behind than other people. Why didn't my parents teach me good spending habits? Why didn't they teach me good investing habits? There are books. I'm reading a book myself right now by this book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit. I don't remember his last name. There's books out there that you can teach yourself anything you want. And yes, I do agree that there is trauma and there are fears that can hold you back from success. Once you do the subconscious work, then you're set free. Then it's instead of a subconscious fear, then it's just a thought, a belief system holding you back. And once it's just a thought or belief system, now it's conscious. Now it's reworkable in your brain, right? If you have that feel like you made money and like dad slapped you and they're like, I can't make money. Once we go back into that situation and heal it, it's now no longer something subconscious holding you back. Now it's just like okay, I can understand why I have a little fear holding me back from making more money. I can understand that. It's understandable why I have this fear and I want more money. So I'd like more money and I'd like to do it in a way where I feel safe. What do you want? And how do you want to feel when you get there? That's what you focus on. What do you want and how do you want to feel when you get there? Masculine energy, the goal, the what, feminine energy, the how, the process to get there. I want $1 million in the quickest, shortest way possible. You might be grinding your ass 24/7. And in like 3 months' time, you're like, oh my God, I did it. I'm a fucking millionaire. But like your brain's gone because you were working 24/7, and then you need like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to recover. I want $1 million and I want it smooth, easeful, gentle, but I want to feel fun and I want it to be somewhat rapid, but I definitely want to feel gentle and calm along the way. What you want and how you want to feel along the way. Um, if you can focus on that instead of focusing on, oh, but my parents did this, right? If you got to do trauma healing, do the trauma healing. Once you're past the trauma, then it's, hey, and they didn't teach me that. My parents, my family upbringing did not teach me the skill that I want. But that's the point. You are supposed to outgrow your family. You are supposed to outgrow them. If the first humans, when they were around, the first humans were figuring out how to make a fire, right? The second round of humans were like, well, how do we build walls and a roof? The third round of humans were like, well, how do we build walls that don't fall if wind hits? The fourth round of humans, okay, now that we got this stable, how do we build a floor? I, for one, love what a time to be alive. I totally butchered that song. I love that we're alive now. I love that I can run my air conditioner all day, every day. I'm so thankful that people back in the day were always progressing, expanding knowledge past what their parents taught them. Are you going to be part of the solution or are you going to be part of the problem? Okay, so it's going to be this kind of like profound healing month for you where like, oh, my parents, or if you didn't have parents, my primary caregivers, they didn't teach me everything. And they're human. They couldn't teach me everything that I needed. Every human has limits, every human has strengths and weaknesses, and my parents couldn't teach me something that I really wish they could have because I felt like this would have been easier for me, and that's what I want. I just want this to be easier. I would like this to be an easeful skill that I acquire, and I would like to see rapid results. Now, instead of focused on the past and why you can't have it, now you're at least pointed towards the future and what you want and why you want it. What you want and how you want to feel along the way. You could also think about why you want it. Those are all helpful thoughts that point you in the right direction. I'm so glad you came, Sammy. Okay, so now this is just some advice on how to like kind of soothe your emotions this month. Because it does seem like it's going to be a little bit of an emotional ringer for you as you really grapple with this. This. um, okay, so this one is about like how to let go. And so when you're letting go of like, so let's just say it's a toxic family as an example, but apply this to your specific situation. It's like when you're standing there and you're like, if they would just learn how to communicate differently, they would enjoy life differently. They would enjoy life differently. But that's you thinking that you know better than them for their own life, and that's arrogant. You may have made the decision for your life that you want something different, right? You may want to be spoken to in a different way. You may want to communicate to a loved one in a different way. That doesn't mean that they don't want it. Right? My parents communicate to each other in a way. When I first heard, like, I don't remember if it was my mom or my dad, they said something, and this was years, years ago. I was just like, I heard it, I was like, oh, that is so mean. Why would you say that to your best friend? I look back, and I can't remember who said it. The other person just, like, laughed and went, "Ha ha, you love me." And the person who said it was like, "I know I do." And they were like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh, that's funny. That sounded mean to me. That is not how I would want my partner to communicate with me." And is there a part of me that thinks, "Wow, they would probably feel so much better and have so much more happiness in their life if they would say things nicer?" It's okay to think that thought, but it's not okay to judge them. It's not okay to try to change them. It's better to be at a place of, okay, so I see what they do, how they operate. How can I have a relationship with them and in a way that leads to me also feeling good, right? I've discovered I like going home more frequently to visit my family for shorter visits. I don't want to go for a month or two. I just find out that's not enjoyable. Well, it's enjoyable, but it doesn't it's not the most productive for my business. um so it's more about not trying to change them, not needing them to change so that you can then change, right? Well, if mom would just do that, then it gives me permission to do that. No, I came here to be my own person. I'm going to let go of trying to change them because they came to enjoy life in a different way. And the beauty of it is they have an inner guidance system that will guide them when they're ready. And when they're ready, and if they want that change, if they want that change, you are a readable resource readily available for them. Don't try to waste your time with the people who say they want change but don't. Because people who want change, when they get on the phone with me, we break through 10 inner children fast and immediate. Someone who doesn't want it, I can sit on the whole hour phone call with them. And at the end, it's like, I guide them to like, is this what you actually want? And they go, oh, that is what I want. I just want to be happy where I'm at. Sometimes we guide conversations to that. Don't think you know what's better for someone else. If they came to live a life with lower income status, let them live that way. If you want to live more, go get it, right? And it's about recognizing that you get to enjoy different people. It's not needing your family or your closest friends to do the exact same thing as you. Boundaries, appreciating different people for different things that they have. So there are some people, I wear my like $5, well, what inflation? So, or my $10 Walmart shirt with them when we hang out. There's other people, I put on my little $120 yoga pants. There's other people, right, that like you do kind of like morph and adapt to different environments that you're in. Not everyone does that. I would encourage you to do that. um, and even if you might in this situation, like, I'm just gonna wear my like my sweats, my hoodies. You don't have to like it doesn't mean it's gonna impact your frequency in your business that you want later. It's really a mindset thing that you're grappling with is like not needing to be perfect to prove that you're worthy of the desire that you want. That's what a lot of this is for you. Okay, so you also have to, on the same note, you have to discern what is worth your time, what is not. So the biggest thing here, we started talking about it, is you have to decipher between, discern between, does this person actually want change? Are they worthy of my time, of me investing in it? Or you have to decide, are they just saying they want change but don't want change? Right? Because there are some people who, I want to come down to live a life fighting the patriarchy. If you actually teach those women how to negotiate, how to go for better salaries, how to change their resumes, right? Because that's what I did. I remember I got like a 15,000, maybe a $17,000 pay raise, and all I did was I shifted how I wrote my resume. Someone came in and taught me. He was like, "Kelly, how much do you make?" I said, "How much?" He's like, "You should be paid more. Let me look at your resume." He looked at my resume. He's like, "You need to word things this way." And when I was having a hard time learning it, he just completely rewrote it for me and taught me how to do it so I can do it in my future too. And then he's like, "Let's practice interview." And he's like, "Oh my God, no, you're not selling yourself. Word it this way, word it that way." And then like the default number that they were offering me was like 15 or 17,000 higher. This was back when I was in the corporate world, like in my mid 20s. Just from right? So someone who's ready will be like, "Okay, you taught me. Is this how did I do it right?" They'll be eager. They'll get the changes. But the people who like came down to like, I just want to experience life in a way where I'm fighting the patriarchy and oh, the man's holding me down. If you try to teach them, they're going to be like, I'll try that on the resume, and they'll just lowball me again, right? If you do that 5 days in a row, they're not wasting your time. You're wasting your time. So it is discerning who and how, where, and how much time you spend. And then how do you come to terms with the emotions that you may feel for not wanting to invest time with a certain individual, especially if it's a close family member? But that's a you issue. That's a you got to process those emotions. You got to come to terms with no, you're not evil. You have nothing to feel guilty about for, okay, they want to experience life a little differently. Well, you know what? I don't want to spend all evening bashing different CEOs or bashing people holding people down. I don't want that to be my point of focus. Um, I want to be doing actions that grow my business. So you may have to not sever, but limit ties, limit what you're willing to share or not. Like I've definitely learned that like when a friend's like, "Oh, I want to start a business," I'm like, "Oh, I can share a few things." And I set the boundary very quickly. I don't mind sharing information when we're meeting. But if I ever have to coach you through the information, that just feels like work to me. And you would need to hop on one of my calls because I'm in like relaxing chill time right now. You got to set those like boundaries earlier. And sometimes it's when it's someone who's not a friend, it's just like oh well, here's some like you gotta learn these things. Would you like me to point you to the coaches who I learned that from? Would you like me to point you to the courses that I learned that from? That's discernment. What's worth your time, what's not worth your time. And it's not, once you get to that point, it's not really you're worth my time, you're not worth my time, because it's not an ego thing. It's just like this is a worthy way of spending my time because they feel good, they're getting results. I feel good, I feel nourished versus I just feel like I'm giving and they're not getting their result. Like those are the ones that you got to limit, or you just got to say, hey, I may not be the teacher for you. I don't know how else to explain this. Here's some books I could suggest, or maybe here's the term you need to Google, go find your course, right? You can do things like that. Okay, so it's definitely time for you Pisces to like step up and like own your power and not need people to see things the way you see it for you to be right. Like here's an example. I have a meeting with Ty Lopez at the end of this month to potentially like coach with them. There's some people, some of my friends that I'm telling, they're like, no way, you got a meeting with him. Well, I don't know if it's a meeting with him or a meeting with his team, but you got a meeting with his organization for coaching them. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, Kelly, high five, fist bump, let me know how it goes. And so people are like, oh, that scammer. It's like, right? So everyone's going to view everything differently, but do you know internally? I know internally for me, it is definitely my next step to be on that phone call. Can you know it and not need to share it with people who are going to be naysayers, right? People who are like, oh, that scammer. I'll be like, oh, yeah, do you think he was? I was just wondering about that. And then I didn't even tell them that I had a meeting with him. You don't need to share everything with everyone. And you don't need people that you share it with to view it the way you view it. You may limit what you share with them once you find out how they view it. You may indulge, right? The person who like knew him, I was like, you know him? And he was like, yeah. I was like, independently from me, like I didn't talk about him to you. He's like, no, of course I follow him. That guy's like a business mogul. He's like, oh, the American dream. And I was like, guess who's gonna be coaching on one of his calls? And he was like, no way. So, right. So I gave him the like juicy story. That's what I mean by discerning with your time. It's not trying to tell someone else and then, oh, they didn't hype me up enough. And then, oh, maybe Ty's not worth it. No, I know that's my next step and I'm excited about it. So I'm only going to share the juicy details with people who are also excited about it too. That's discernment. That's owning your power. That's stepping up to it, Pisces. All right. If you got any questions, hit me in the comments down below. If you would like more in-depth coaching, I have a lot of new programs that I'm opening up. So I'm very excited for that. So you can apply for a free breakthrough strategy call. I'll put the link down below after the video. We'll just get on a phone call. We'll talk about your goal, what it's going to take you to get you there, and then if I can support you, I'll let you know how I can. If not, hopefully, I'll have an awesome resource I can send your way or point you in the right direction. That's for those of you who are looking for more in-depth coaching. You want an accelerated journey to manifestation. But for those of you who just want to start gradually working on your spiritual and personal growth, I'll put a link down for 2 free meditations, one to meet your spiritual guide for that spiritual growth, but then I'll also include some in there to help you develop healthy boundaries. That would be really good meditations for you, Pisces. It'd be to help you develop really healthy boundaries so you can just really go for what you want. So I love you guys bunches. I'll come back in a little bit and add those links for you guys. Bye.